And we're back here at the GSL Code S. It's time for our final match today.
Indeed it is. It is time to see if Pet can do it again. Can he beat Squirtle? We'll see.
I think Pet will not beat Squirtle, but then again, Pet played very well against Sora.
Yeah, he definitely started a comeback, but there's still like flaws in the way he's playing. The thing is, a lot of his basics are really nice. Like he's going around getting flanks, he's trying to get good surface area, but there's a lot of sloppy attacking. There's a lot of overusing like layer tech type of units, and he's getting lucky with speedlings a little bit as well.
He's not very refined.
Yeah.
He's definitely someone who will take games off you, but Squirtle, I mean, this guy down to the bone, man. Yeah. I mean, he knows how to play each matchup in and out. He is very clean in his execution, you know.
He is
has a very deep understanding of his builds. A bit of an emotional loss, though, earlier when Sulky took him out. I didn't think he would be that bent out of shape about it.
Yeah, especially since it's Sulky, and it's like, if someone's going to beat you, let it be Sulky, okay?
Yeah, it's not like there's any shame in losing to Sulky. If I had to give
someone a free pass to beat me at StarCraft, it would be Sulky. Everyone else is going to have to work for it.
I was hoping you were going to say me or Toast, but
no. Well, that would make the whole story go away.
So our map is going to be Polar Night. Again, the loser here, their story ends here for this season of GSL. The winner moves on to the final, not the final, what am I saying? The round of 16. I'm like making this way too epic. I'm like, the loser we kill. All right, guys.
Kill their hopes.
Let's go to our final best of 3 now. Pet against Squirtle here. This is the GSL Code S.
Pet versus Squatter.
Again, massive support here in the audience for Pet.
Indeed. His classmates really want to see him move on. Careful, guys. If he gets too far, he's not going to be going to school anymore.
That's true. You won't get to see him anymore.
Yeah.
That's probably exactly what he wants, though.
You're rooting to lose a friend. This is why I always sabotage Tasus, so he won't leave me.
Oh, yeah. I'm easily Code S material.
Easily.
Actually making the background vibrate there is a cheering. Wow. Pumping dubstep in the room. Whoop. This is pretty cool that all of his friends showed up here like this, you know?
Yeah. All right, Tasteless.
Squirtle getting his gateway now.
Going for a nice quick scout with it as well. He's not messing around, that's for sure.
That's smart, too.
Yeah. If he sees Hatch first, he'll probably just go for a Nexus. And there's that Hatch first, so we'll see in a second.
Special thank you to our sponsors.
Hot 6.
Oh, puts a pylon there. Let's see if Pet ends up overreacting. Pretty typical now to just throw a pylon down here in case the Zerg does overreact. And they assume it's a cannon rush when it's not. It's also hard for the Zerg to really know unless they send out their own drone, but then they're losing minerals in a different way.
Indeed. Yeah, he's made 3 come out. Cancels last second. Should be making a Nexus any second here. And then going into a more normal game. And, well, here we are, Tasteless. This is pretty much how you would expect for them to open.
Yeah, this
pretty
is all
standard.
very basic.
Yeah.
This is an interesting map. The main is very accessible to Warp Prism Harass or drops or Muta Harass, anything like that. So that may play a role here when we get into more of the mid-game.
Indeed. It's also kind of a small map, kind of a cramped map, so a little bit afraid for Pet in that regard because the guy has shown us that he doesn't like Swarm Hosts or Mutas, which are like the best units. So
yeah, he plays a lot more like it's Wings of Liberty.
Yeah, it's a very old school style that he's using, which might be part of the reason why he's being so successful lately. That's
a very good point, actually.
People aren't used to playing against that anymore because when you see someone commit that heavily on that, you just turtle a little bit more, and then their army falls apart. Yeah, generally speaking. But we'll see. You know, he's also shown an all-in today, and I mean, I don't want to completely box him into the same strategy, even though it feels that way. Like, if I'm Squirtle, I'm thinking, okay, that's what's coming, and I'm preparing for that. But maybe he'll use something else.
Here come those Lings now. Just hitting that pylon as the Zealot comes down here, too. Now, with the Mothership Core here, it's going to be a little bit easier to push this out, but he does end up taking out the pylon. Yeah, that's actually a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's very annoying.
That even messes up when he gets the full wall in over there.
And it doesn't just mess that up. You need to make production buildings as part of that wall in, so his production buildings are going to be late as well. So
nicely done there by Pet. He's off to a very good start.
He is indeed. Pet taking his third base, getting his Zergling speed as well. And there we go. Squirtle going to get those gates up a little bit later than what he would have normally, but I don't think it's a big deal. He wasn't like chrono boosting his Cyber Core or anything like that. I'm not sure that he was planning on too aggressive of an attack follow-up. In fact, this looks like he wants to take a third to me, looking at this build. But there's a plume of Lings being made once again by Pet, and
we may see we may see some more aggression here. Might as well incorporate some of this, and you know what? Might as well do it early on here against Squirtle. Catch Squirtle off guard. Hell, man, he might even do this twice in a best of 3.
Could. That's a possibility. Well, we do have this Stargate coming up, so Squirtle isn't going to run right out to take a third base. So that's actually very good for him, because if he took a third base right away here...
Oh, this would be completely shut down.
Yeah, Pet would just force a cancel, probably kill a couple of units, and that would be, like, really, really bad for Squirtle. But again, luckily that's not what's going on. Pet's going to check for it. No, not there. And, a couple more gates being added. 3 more gates being added.
Wow. Squirtle now taking matters into his own hands here.
Yeah. Is this going to be Phoenix into a 7-gate?
I think it is.
It kind of looks like it. And that's a build that we don't really see all that often, but it's a strong one. And the Phoenixes are going to help to clean up the Overlords, possibly supply cap your opponent. And normally when you see Phoenixes, you're going to be thinking to yourself, oh, okay, I can make a few more drones, because Phoenixes, you know, are going to kill drones, and this normally means that they're going for a third base, but not this time.
Well, let's see if this catches Pet off guard. In most of the games we've seen from Pet, actually I guess we could say all the games pretty much, Pet's been the aggressor. So now we're going to see Pet, you know, on his back foot here, trying to hold off an attack like this.
I mean, the good thing for him is that he already has Zergling speed, but he just now is starting the Roach Warren. I guess that's actually okay too, though, because I'm looking out here and there's no probe on the map. So that plus he's holding both watchtowers, and he's actually being very active with his Lings. So it's going to be hard to get out there and actually get a pylon in a good spot. In fact, Squirrel's going to have to pre-make at least 1 round of his army to even escort anything out there to make a pylon.
That's very true. He's got a decent army right now. He did wall off, by the way, the entrance to his base, so that if the Lings do try to counterattack, he can warp a Stalker or 2 in there behind that to defend while continuing to do the push. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. For a second, I didn't see that probe for a minute there. So he's going to continue to come up here, put this pylon right there.
All right, this attack is going to commence. We have 10 roaches on the way. A Spore Crawler comes over. Very smart to have that there. It's going to make it harder for the Phoenixes to really be part of the battle.
Chrono boosting here on the Warp Gate here. Nice force fields here.
Indeed, but there's not a lot of damage output, and the roaches are starting to pop out here. Good force fields once again, though. He's keeping the sentries away from everything.
Did lock his own, lock the roaches in there for a little bit. The Zealots are now coming in here. You know, if he just keeps making Stalkers from here and controls those sentries right, I think he should be in great shape.
Yeah, it does look like it. We only have 11 roaches on the field right now. Really nice time warp coming down as well. The drones having to be pulled. But still, you know, he's not really losing many.
He doesn't really have his Zealots even being used right now. Mostly over there at the bottom right. Now he pulls back that Mothership Core. More Stalkers being warped in over here. I gotta say, so far his control's been quite good this game. Squirtle, I mean.
Yes, indeed. He's executing quite well, and he's keeping that. His Stalker count is growing while we always have about 10 roaches out, so that's a good thing. Thing is, he doesn't really have force fields anymore, so...
Yeah, he had that last useless one he threw up there.
And let's not forget that Pet just got roach speed. It just finished, so that's really going to help him out, especially on the creep. And he's starting to hold a little bit more. But that's a lot of Stalkers,
There
man.
were some Stalkers that were actually hitting Overlords back there at the beginning of that battle. Now, maybe if he gets rid of the hatchery, this just pays off and the game starts to balance out.
Well, I think he's still, he's still going to warp in quite a few units, but we're starting to get some units pulled up by Pet. He can't attack quite yet. Yeah, he's got to make a little bit more. But, this army doesn't really have any upgrades for Squirtle, so that's something to consider. We do have +1 attack on the Roaches and speed on the Roaches.
That's true, too.
And it's 2 base against 2 base, which obviously is better for Protoss, but...
now he's going for an Oracle, so I'm under the impression he's going to keep attacking here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're pressuring on the map, your opponent is not really going to be looking into their main. They're not going to be building a Spore Crawler there. Why would they?
It's smart, too, because...
well, I mean, he might already have one because of the Phoenixes, but still.
It's smart because you take the hatchery out, the production is just so slowed down here for the Zerg. Especially if you count the drones that were killed or the ones that had to evacuate and therefore lost mining time.
Yeah, he's sitting on 43 drones against 47 probes, 2 base versus 2 base. And he's getting, he's just like continuing to upgrade these units, these layer units that he likes so much. Making some Hydras off 2 base. I'm not sure what the plan is. I think the plan is right now is to hope that Squirtle moves out into a bad position and he can kill the army.
Just runs him over.
Yeah, if he can kill the army, then he's in great shape. But if Squirtle sits back and plays a little bit more defensively, like he's doing, gets some upgrades, gets his tech tree filled out a bit, then Pet has made like a pretty sizable army and didn't retake his 3rd that quickly, really. So, I'm liking it for Squirtle in that regard.
The hatch is about halfway done right now, and it looks like there's a possibility of him moving out here. He did plant a pylon over there outside of his base. Getting some Immortals now. Those are going to be very helpful against the Roaches. Blink also starting now.
Kind of interesting, he canceled his Colossus tech.
Yeah.
So he was thinking about going Colossus, decided not to, and right now there's a lot more Roaches out than Hydras, and there's really, I don't think there's actually that many Lings out. It's mostly a Roach-based army, so Immortal's going to be a little bit more useful. But more Hydras being added.
I like the position of that Oracle. Go in there and just get some drones if you can, here or there. And I like the hallucinated Colossus, very smart.
Oh,
ouch. Well, hopefully he remakes that.
Yeah, that's a very painful loss, so that had enough for a time warp, which would be really, really helpful in any battle. Now, some good force fields going down. But does have to cancel his 3rd. Pet Man. He's doing it.
Yeah, he's making this work, right? Well,
you know what Pet reminds me of?
What?
A ladder player.
Actually, yeah, he's like one of those guys that would be like top 10 or something on the ladder. He's got a really weird style. He beats a lot of good players.
It feels like a laddery type of style, the way that he's playing, and like he's just always out there and like having these amounts of units that do things that you might not expect. And I don't know, it's really kind of giving me that vibe. I feel like a lot of the games I play are against Pet. Like,
yeah, they're good. They might
like, I expect Swarm Host, but you actually have a lot of Hydras and Roaches.
Yeah. Well, when he's using a style like this, if other people aren't using it, it's very difficult to prepare against.
That's right. And you've got to always prepare against the things that are deemed stronger, because they, actually are stronger. But if you're preparing against those, you may be a little bit rusty against a style like this.
Yeah. Whereas this is something Pet does all the time.
All right, well, here we go. He's trying to attack in here is Pet. Some pretty good force fields going on. Oh, the Zealot's rubbing up against those force fields, getting some pot shots on him. A lot of Immortals in here, but he's going to run out of force fields, and that's going to be a huge issue. The Mothership Core goes straight up there and doesn't cast anything.
Oh, man, the Hydras push in here.
Man,
which means these Immortals are going to take a lot of damage now. 3 Immortals left.
And they're all going to be going down for sure. They all do. The Stalkers blink away, but guess what?
Look at this.
Yeah.
And Squirtle, I think, when you look at him, just utter disbelief on his face as to what's happening. A frustrating moment, and now this Oracle comes in and starts hitting these drones, but that'll get taken out by this Hydra. Dude.
Okay, so you know what? I feel like Pet is right now doing for Roach Hydra what Life did for Zerglings, where it's like just kind of reinventing how to use them again and be like, no, this is really great, watch. And He's going to be taking this game. Should be seeing GG any second.
This is the killing blow here. And
look how happy
you can see on his face. He's like, all right, I did it. Wow, an emotional game there for both players. And you can see Pat just telling himself, I'm so close, I can do this. I just got to win one more game. I just beat, in a game here, a GSL finalist for Wings of Liberty.
Yeah, it's gigantic, man. It's so big. And you know what? He should be feeling good. Squirtle, I think it's time to back up into a strong macro game. I feel like we've seen enough games that's past the tipping point where we know what Pet is capable of, what Pet is going to be showing us today. And it's going to be in the mid game